I had several conversations with defense attorneys, both in the that have done it for nothing and do it regularly, about presumptive. What is this? What are we talking about? It's, this presumptive thing of guilt, right? And, Chairman's right. Maybe with a certificate, but there's only two other places really in the law where this presumptive thing kind of really plays in. We're dealing with, like, people diddling kids in pictures in Dewey's, right? Those are the two areas really in the law that they really explain this presumptive thing, that they presume you've done it until you prove otherwise. Problem is, if you don't have the certificate, you got to find another way. Is the prosecutor going to agree that what you have? Because the way that the defense attorneys explained it to me was, it's going to come down to the jury or the judge, right? Because that's who's going to decide the reality of the presumption, right? Is it presumptive? Is you guilty or innocent? The jury still has to decide. And will it be defined by, in some cases, the judge's and jury instructions? Sometimes the judge's jury instructions could have an impact on whether or not the jury will agree that the proof, other than the certificate, right? So we agree. Other than the certificate, no one's argued that I have to come up with some other proof. But someone has to agree with that proof. Just like in the self-defense narrative, I got to prove, right, I was committing self-defense. Well, the jury has to agree with it. Well, same thing applies here. The jury has to, if it's not the certificate, the jury has to agree with, and again, I'm getting this from a defense attorney. I think everybody knows in this room that the last thing I'm going to do is call myself a lawyer. But this is what the defense attorneys are telling me. Again, so yes, I don't get the certificate, but I've got the proof. But again, it's only the certificate that gets me out of jail free with the card. Everything else is presumptive. I'm on bail, right? Everybody knows what happens when you're on bail. You open yourself up to all these other violations when you're on bail. All right? I submitted a piece of legislation to put together a committee on bail reform because I understand what can happen when an innocent person is still on bail trying to get themselves out of the charge. And as far as I know, other than the certificate, the voluntary certificate, if you don't have, someone else has to agree that your evidence is good enough. It's not always going to be the prosecutor, right? It's going to come down to the judge and the jury. And in some cases, so let's walk ourselves through it. Going back to what Leader Chippendale said, what's the other way? If I don't have my receipt, the next best option I have is going back to the dealership, the gun dealer that I got it from. Well, what if I bought it in another state? Now I gotta reach out to that other state, and meanwhile, the criminal justice system is marching along, but I still have to reach out to that other state to get my receipt. Or if I don't get a receipt, what if the dealership's closed down, right? The gun dealership is closed down. All right, what's happened to my file, my federal form that I filled out? The next best thing that I might be able to get, that federal form is sitting in a cave in West Virginia in some nameless place, because that's what happens when a gun dealer closes down. All their federal forms get taken to a nameless place, right? And someone's got to go find that. We got to pay some bureaucrat to go down the stairs in the elevator and work through all these folders to pull out my federal form, because I need to prove myself.
1 minute, please. 1 minute.
Understood. And again, all we're asking, you know what? I'm not even asking for this full process, right? Like, I understand it could take a year to find my federal form. I'm only asking for 30 days to get my receipts out of my safe. That's all I'm asking for, is maybe go to my dealer and get the copy of the form. Give me 30 days. Because, oh, by the way, is it 30 days? It's a long time, and a lot of things can happen to me while I'm on bail. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.